High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello everyone and welcome to Overtime. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm Regan Holgate, and what a night it's been for high school football. Thanks to some great weather and some great matchups. We'll dive into those in a moment.
We're also going to bring you a feature story on a Hononegah assistant coach who has worked his way through a journey with cancer, and now he is back with the team.
There were a lot of interesting games tonight, including Dupec playing at Forreston in the NUIC. On most weekends, that would have been our game of the week, and we will get to that game shortly. But there was another equally huge game in the Nick 10, Scott, and you had that assignment.
Yeah, these two teams have won the last two Nick 10 championships. Hononegah ran the table in the conference last year. Harlem did it in the COVID spring season before that. Boy, do these two teams have some athletes, and we're going to see them. We pick it up, Harlem trailing 17-0 in the second quarter. Austin Redmond will find one of his playmakers. That's DeAndre Young, and he is gone. That gave the Huskies life right before halftime. Third quarter now, it's Redmond to the end zone. Kelton Bussacross has it, and it was suddenly a game, 17-14. Hononegah answered. Cole Warren to Isaiah Huey. Hononegah back up by 10. But Redmond says touche. He's going to complete it to Young. And again, he's going to go a long way. 81 yards with it for another touchdown. It was 24-21. Hononegah still in the lead. But back comes Warren over the middle to Jacob Skadoodle. And it's a 51-yard touchdown. It was 31-21. But hold your seat, because on the following kickoff, sophomore Jamani Muhammad, he is so fast. Unbelievable. He took one to the house last week. He does it again, 91 yards. It was a three-point game again, 31-28 Hononegah. The Indians counterpunch with 6 minutes to play. Running back Luke Poppy takes it in. That made it 38-28, and that's the way it ended. Hononegah in a thriller takes this one 38-28.
And there's a lot to discuss with this game, and we have the perfect guy to help us with that. Tim Bailey joins us again, our Nick 10 analyst. It's great to have you back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tim, it was a strange game. Ho-hum first half, explosive second half.
Absolutely explosive second half. I think, if you go back and you watch the game, for those who have access to the film, Harlem actually came out really flat in the first half, and we talked about that. Second half, they went in the locker room. Kids got galvanized by the coaches, gave them a good pep talk. They came back out in the second half, and they were a different team. But, playing against a team like Hononegah, you can't have a horrible first half as we saw Harlem have in this game here.
Well, on Harlem's game breakers, I mean, they've got two of them. You can, as a defense, you can stop them. If they run 50 plays, you can stop them perfectly, 45. But on the other 5, Muhammad or Young can go the distance and just take over the game like that, and that's almost what they did tonight.
Yeah, and they have playmakers on both sides of the ball, and I tip my hats off to Coach DuBose for calling a really good game tonight. Unfortunately, with Hononegah's defense, they flowed very well tonight. As I talked to you earlier at the game, they flowed very well tonight, and they actually, came out and made a statement tonight defensively, because there's a lot of talk, around the conference. People don't know how strong Hononegah is going to be this year, due to the, good apples that they lost, due to graduation. But, Hononegah came out and made a statement. Harlem's a good team. I mean, take nothing away from Harlem. Harlem's a good team. They have a bevy of playmakers on that offensive side of the ball. And I think we're going to be talking about Harlem here in the next 6 or 7 weeks.
And Tim, Isaiah Huey of Hononegah was making plays on both offense and defense. What are your thoughts on him?
He's a stud. I mean, the kid's a playmaker. I mean, he does it for you not just on offense, but he does it for you on defense. He's a sure tackler. He does it for you on special teams. As you saw tonight, he returns kicks, he returns punts. I mean, he's pretty much the heart and soul of that Hononegah team. And the scary thing is that the kid's only a junior. So this kid's got a lot of upside. He stays healthy. He continues to do what he needs to do during the offseason when that time comes. But this kid is special.
Yeah, and we saw the two playmakers for Harlem. They're special, too. I want to ask you about Cole Warren, Hononegah's quarterback. Okay, as we said, the first half was pretty shaky for both teams, and then all of a sudden, boom. And I think Cole Warren was kind of a reflection of that, maybe. Huh?
And let me say this first. I think Cole Warren's going to be a really good quarterback for Hononegah this year and next year because he's only a junior. But there were some things that I did see in the first half that he was doing that it seemed like he had the jitters just a little bit here, and he left his feet a couple times in the first half. And the ball didn't come out correctly. You know, they threw some ill-advised passes early in the first half. I think Dad, who's the offensive coordinator, Coach Warren, probably had a conversation with them at halftime and said, hey, stay on your feet, make the pass, be proficient in the pocket. He runs very well. He can actually be a dual-threat kid. But sky's the limits for the young man. And, you know, again, you know, when you have a quarterback like this for Hononegah, you know, you can only wish for better down the road as the weeks progress. So I think Hononegah is going to be that team too, Scott, that we're going to be talking about in Regan. We're going to be talking about here in the next 6 or 7 weeks. I mean, they're really good.
All these coaches talk about that growth from week 1 to week 2. I think we saw it tonight for both these teams from half 1 to half 2. I think both teams kind of found a little something there that they can take forward with them in the next few weeks.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, Harlem didn't come out with the victory, but I think Harlem's going to learn from this and they're going to grow. I think what Hononegah is probably going to do, they're going to watch film. Coach Zimmerman is going to tell his guys, hey, guys, let's relish this moment. Look, we got this many more games left, and we still got Boylan and Belvedere North on the schedule. So he's not going to let his guys get too complacent.
And we're not going to let you get away because we're going to have you back here a little bit later to look ahead to next week. But we're going to show you what else happened tonight in the Nick 10 a bit later. We'll also take you to Winnebago, Lutheran, and Dakota for highlights.
But up next, it's that blockbuster game that happened in Forreston. The Cardinals going at it with the Dupec Rivermen. You're watching Overtime.
Football Friday nights don't get much better in Illinois than they do in the Northwest Upstate Illini Conference. Those small communities live for these nights, don't they?
They do, and tonight there was no containing the excitement of the fans in Forreston because the Dupec Rivermen sailed into town, giving us a matchup of 2 state-ranked teams. And it was senior night for the Cardinals, but Dupec made their presence known, and so did A.J. Mulcahy. Just give him the ball and let him go. That run will put the Rivermen on the board early in the first. And they would get another crack on the offense after recovering the onside kick in the next drive. Quarterback Cooper Hoffman pulls back here. He's looking deep, and he'll find Will Howard in the end zone for 6 more. Rivermen absolutely rolling 14-0 in the first. It'll be McKeon Crace, though, to receive the following kickoff, but Dupec will force the turnover, and they'll recover the fumble. Talk about a start to a football game. Cardinals back with it, handoff to Quentin Frederick, and he'll make his way through. Nice pick up there and run from the sophomore. Next play, Caleb Sanders, though. He'll find the opening, and he will take it all the way to the house, add the 2-point conversion, and the Cardinals are finally on the board, 14-8. But of course, Mulcahy, he had an answer, and a 63-yard answer to be exact. Here he is. Oh my goodness, just watch this kid run. You could do it all night, and well, Forreston had to. Dupec leads 22-8 late in the first. And let's just make this an A.J. Mulcahy highlight reel, why don't we? Hoffman will find him on the outside, and that'll tack on 6 more. Forreston would try to come back in the second half, but no luck. Dupec wins it 36-26.
What a big win for the Rivermen. Now, both those teams going to have another big game down the road against Lena Winslow. Tonight, the Panthers were in Dakota. Panthers down in the red zone at the 3. Drew Streckwald hands the ball to Gage Dunker, who powers through, reaches for the end zone. They got the 2-point conversion tacked on as well. Indians ball now. Caden Niedermeyer, this 3-step drop, finds Tug Dornick. Nice catch and possession for the first down. Indians went 3 and out, so the Panthers again with Dunker sprints through a hole and finds nothing but green. See all that green there? And it's Gage and nobody else. His second touchdown of the game. He's going to get a lot of those this year. Maybe like 40. We'll see. Next possession for the Panthers. Streckwald will find Jace Flynn. Or so we thought, but I guess not. But let's go to the scoreboard. Yep, let's go to the scoreboard, folks. Insert that final score for me, please. Well, not that scoreboard, the one of the game we just saw. Lena Winslow beat Dakota 48-24. Now for this scoreboard. Also in the NUIC, Stockton 26, EPC 6, Fulton 63, West Carroll nothing, and Galena beat Madison 35-6. Well, it's rare when the Byron Tigers have a losing record. That was the case after they dropped that overtime thriller last weekend in Stillman Valley. They needed a bounce-back win tonight at Winnebago.
The Indians were also looking to bounce back from a Week 1 loss at Genoa Kingston. Neither one of these teams wanted to start off the season 0-2. First quarter now, Byron football. QB Braden Smith gonna roll to his right and he'll launch a bomb towards his target, Kai Aiken, but it's gonna be picked off by Bago's Caden Stewart. Few possessions later for the Tigers though, give it to Ashton Hankel. He sees open space and he takes it. In fact, he takes it all the way to the house. 7-0 Byron now. Second quarter now, Braden Smith back to pass for the Tigers. Gonna go deep again to find Braden Kilduff and he hauls it in. Great vision to see it into his hands. Now, how do you know how slippery a running back is? Maybe when he's able to make everyone on the field lose sight of him, including, well, our cameras. That's what Kai Aiken did as he slips past all 11 players on Bago. To extend their lead to 14-0, Byron will win this one, no problem, 42-7.
Another big Northern game had Genoa Kingston playing at Rockford Lutheran. Both teams won their openers last week. We're going to start things off with King Hughes on the keeper. Makes a couple of guys miss. That's nice shifting there. Carries a couple more with him on his way down. Coggs first drive. They'll keep it on the ground. Maddox Lavender up the middle. And he's got a lot of daylight in front of him. He's gone. GK up 7-0. Coach Cam Dapico's loving it. His Coggs getting the job done. Next possession for the Crusaders. King Hughes doing his best Johnny Manziel impersonation. Kind of wanders around back there. Heaves it under pressure. It's almost picked, though, by the Coggs defense. Second quarter, GK Bowl inside the red zone. And the handoff will go to Lavender again, who will dart up the middle and into the end zone. Coggs rolled to the win. Final score 42-20.
Also in the Big Northern Conference, Dixon will win it 21-14. Oregon takes this one 14-8, and Rockford Christian, oh, well, they lost actually in OT 14-8 there. And then Stillman Valley will win it also no problem, 39-7.
Rochelle knocked off Herscher 49-13 on the road. DeKalb took Plainfield South to the woodshed 48-14 in that one. Sycamore beat Oak Forest 40-6. St. Francis beat Sterling 35-27. Harvard in other area action beat Woodstock North 21-14. Marengo defeated Canton 41-20.
In 8-man football, Amboy wins this one 68-14 against River Ridge, and Milledgeville will take it 66-24 with Ackwen. Hiawatha and Ashton Franklin, they will lose that one 66-38, and Easton Valley will take it 69-22 against South Beloit. We are going to switch back to the Nictang next. Would Boylan roll for the second straight week?
And who would win the Rockford battle between Guilford and Auburn? And would the E-Rabs meet the challenge posed by Belvedere North? The early season Nick 10 schedule has been a tough one for the East E-Rabs. They had to open at Boylan last Saturday. That didn't go so well for them.
Tonight, the E-Rabs went head-to-head with a very good Belvedere North team. The Blue Thunder dominated Freeport last week. Head coach Jeff Beck looking for that same effort from his guys tonight at Swanson Stadium. Start with the Blue Thunder from the 1-yard line. Maddox Gillenswan on the QB keeper gets the push and ref signals he's in. That put North up 14-0. What better way to add those points on the board than some elevated push-ups too from the cheerleaders? Everyone was fired up at this game. The Blue Thunder's defense came to play as well. East had some very good running backs, but Joseph Brown is in hot pursuit here, sticking with Malik Gordon and wrapping him up. That's great effort right there. More defense here from North. McKee Matthews on the bootleg, rolling and firing deep towards the sideline, but it's Chander Whaler on the end for the interception. He's fired up too. Belvedere North wins it and shuts him out 22-0.
Well, Boylan dominated last week against East. Would it be more of the same for the Titans at home tonight against Jefferson? First quarter, Titans are knocking on the door. Donovan Hansard goes through the door for a 7-0 lead. Later, the Jayhawks in punt formation. They had one block last week, and the Titans knew it. They came after them. They've got this one. The ball in the end zone. A Jayhawk fell on it. That's a safety. And the Titans' next possession, Connor Dennis throws. Rasheed Johnson has it. No Jayhawks in the area. That's another score. Boylan wins this one, folks, That's a correct score, 71-7.
Some Rockford bragging rights were on the line at Wyatt Stadium. Guilford took on Auburn. Second quarter, Auburn quarterback Anthony Purifoy hands off to Patrick Dubose Jr., and he rumbles and tumbles his way into the end zone, cutting into the Vikings' lead and making it 14-6. Next Guilford possession, it's fourth down, and QB Skylar Wolf decides to quick kick it instead, but it's blocked. Auburn would recover deep in Vikings territory, and, well, they would make them pay. Purifoy finds a Thavion Coleman, who makes the adjustment and gets the touchdown. That made it just a 2-point game. But as time was close to expiring in the half, Guilford's Skylar Wolf, trying to swing momentum back in the Vikings' favor, is just going to heave it towards the end zone, and it finds an open Jaden Nugent, who fights his way over the goal line. They'd punch in the 2-point conversion to make it a 10-point game again. What an end to the half. Guilford wins this one, 28-20.
Well, Freeport and Belvedere did not play tonight because they're going to play tomorrow afternoon at Belvedere. All right, we want to welcome Tim Bailey back in here. Tim, we saw the Boylan Belvedere North both won impressively tonight, so they're both 2-0, and they're going to go head-to-head next week in what will likely be our game of the week.
Yeah. Belvedere North beat Boylan last year. Give us your initial thoughts on this matchup.
Well, it's a revenge game. Boylan came out last year. Belvedere North came over to Boylan and beat Boylan at home. Boylan fans know and Boylan athletes know you don't lose at home. So, it's an opportunity now for Boylan to go back over to Belvedere North next week and try to steal a victory. They played well tonight. The tough thing is that, when you put that many points up on the board and you don't play a really tough opponent the week prior to going into like a team with a Belvedere North, you got to tell you guys quick, guys, let's relish this one. As soon as you leave the locker room, we're thinking about Belvedere North. Okay, what we did with Jefferson, that's no longer, that's out of the door. We're done with that game. We got to move on to a better opponent that we're going to have to go into their house next week and play them, and it's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, it might be kind of what we saw at the second half of the Harlem-Hononegah game tonight. You got playmakers both for the Titans and Belvedere North, so yeah, that's going to be a sweet game next week.
Yep,
all right, stick around, folks. Coming up next, we catch up with a Nick 10 coach who's coming off a major victory over cancer. Perhaps no one is happier to be out on the football fields and practice fields this year than Hononegah offensive line coach Andy Trice is. He's come a long way over the past 15 months since he was diagnosed with colon cancer. Coach Trice shares his story with us in our Overtime Spotlight segment.
Look at the guy over the guard first. See if he's coming your way. If he doesn't, just keep going.
Coach Trice spends most practices observing and instructing from a golf cart because he has balance issues walking. But he's come a long way.
I'm feeling much better than I was 14 months ago with all the health issues I had.
He learned Memorial Day weekend in 2021 that he had colon cancer.
I was given a 5% chance to live when everything first happened back in June. I was given a 5% chance to live. Had the procedure done. They removed the cancerous area.
Shortly after that, Trice suffered a pair of mini strokes.
There were 4 different things, health, life-threatening things that I went through.
The Beloit healthcare system and Trice's wife Vicky and his children became the team that helped pull Trice through.
I promised Vicky she would come up to me in the hospital and say, "You got to find a way back. It's too early for you to go."
She was right, and that 5% survival figure is history now.
I had a CT scan on just recently, and I am now cancer-free. Tackles. The H is reading your block. So like Coach said, take that guy wherever he wants to go. If he goes inside, take him down. The H is going to go outside, and the super is going to follow him.
Football has been a part of Trice's life, going back to his days as an offensive tackle at Joliet Central High School and at Eastern Illinois University. He graduated from Eastern in 1977. He's been coaching at the college and high school levels ever since. What does it mean to you to be able to come out here in the fresh air, be with the boys, and be coaching again?
Oh, it's great. I've missed that feeling, and I want to be out here and help kids have their a good football experience. Just line up at your position and watch Dane so you get mental reps, okay? How's that ankle?
It's all right. Yeah, it hurts a little bit. That's all right.
Keep getting treatment.
Yep.
To be able to see him back out here, whether it's on the, walking around with a cane or whether it's on the golf cart, it's just happy to see his face out here. We came so close to losing the guy, and it just means the world to everybody here.
I've had a lot of support from a lot of friends from the area and throughout the country, teammates from college and former students. It's been overwhelming with the great amount of love I've received and caring, so that has helped throughout this journey.
Trice has been on Hononegah's coaching staff for 8 years. He's also coached at Beloit College, Beloit Memorial High School, and South Beloit High School. Such a great story, and what great news that Coach Trice is cancer-free. We wish him all the best going forward. We'll be right back after this final timeout. Join us each Friday night at this time on Fox 39 for Overtime. We also rebroadcast each show Saturday night at 11 on Fox 39, but that start time can slide a bit depending on how long the college football game runs Saturday night on Fox. So if it's not on right at 11, it's going to be on shortly after. And remember, you can find highlights and scores anytime by going to mystateline.com. That will do it for us and this show. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.